So I was thinking,
Oh,
Ma, are you still saying anything? We're not hearing you.
network issue. Has to be network issue.
You said?
Maybe she's having a network issue.
Oh, okay.
Please stop recording. I beg.
I asked developers, I had to, understand
Wait,
these three things. And when it was explained to me,
Ma,
they,
we could not hear you since you.
are you serious?
Yeah, we could not hear you like for more than 3 minutes or so.
We're thinking maybe.
Wow.
So you were talking all the while. We're thinking maybe it was network or something.
Okay. So where did you stop?
When you said you wanted to start recording.
But
Wow.
we can't even see your screen.
Okay.
We can't see your screen too.
I'm trying. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to check. I connected my phone, so I'm trying to see if I got a call. So sorry. Post disable attending challenge. So I am no longer the host. So they need to make me a host before I can share my screen. Admin, please, I can't share my screen. I don't know if you make me the host so that I can share my screen. So why they are doing that, let's just continue. So I said I'll just be explaining it. It's explain I'm doing sure. So I said there's a difference between a web application, a mobile application, and a website. So what we did last week was a website. So today we are going to do a mobile application. And in case you hear somebody telling you, I want you, Precious and Wisdom, to design a web application. Now, don't get it confused that a web application is a website. You get now, this is how I actually understood it, and this is how I made the research, asked a couple of friends, asked developers, what is the difference between these three, and How does it look? Can you actually use an existing product to explain this three for me so that I can understand? So that I can understand. Now, the difference, now we have a website, we have a web app, and we have a mobile application. Now, let me start with website. A website is an application. You just go to your browser, www.helenchimike.com. You see what is happening there and you go. For example, my portfolio. You want to connect with me. You want to see all my past projects. You want to read maybe information about me. You just want to know everything about me. Okay. Now my portfolio is actually a website because you just go there to look at what is happening and then you go off. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to log in. You don't have to make any payments. You're not doing anything. You just go there to see the information you want and then you close your browser. That is called a website. I'm using my portfolio for example. Your portfolio too is a website. Okay. Now, this one we call web application. A web application is a website. It's actually a site where you go to see information. You also carry out, I'm not going to use only for transaction, but you go to see information. But if you choose to progress, like if you choose to continue whatever is going on that application, then you have to sign up or sign in. I'm going to use an existing product, for example, Jumia. Now, a web application is something that you can also download the mobile app from App Store, and you can also access it through your browser, Jumia. You can shop online through Jumia from your Chrome browser, and you can also download the app. You can also, now when I mean browser, either the browser on your phone or the browser from your larger screens. Now, Jumia is number one. Jumia is a web application. You can access it through the browser and you can access it through the app. Now, you can access it and do check price, um, you can check price, compare price online and in the marketplace. You can check everything. You can see number of items they have on their own page. You can check, oh, is this health best? You can read review, you can see description, you can know everything. You can know, okay, the numbers of likes, you can see the location, you can see their 50% discounts, you can see adverts, you can see everything. But if you proceed to buy that item or you proceed to add that item to your cart, then that is when the system will ask you to either sign up as a new user or log in as an existing user before you can make payments for that item, or you can automatically add that item to your cart. That is what a web app is. A mobile application is actually an app. Before you get to see what is happening inside the app, you will first download it. That is called a mobile application. You will download it, log in or sign up before you can even see what is happening on that app. That is what a mobile application look like. So your mobile application is your WhatsApp, your bank app, your health app, whatever application you are using on your phone that you download from your Google Play Store or Apple Store. That is called an application, a mobile application. A web application, it is something that you can access through the app and also the browser. But before you will, from the browser, but before you will, proceed to the next stage or to the other stage or level on that app, then you have to authenticate. Authenticate means either you sign up or you log in. So that is what it means. But a website is something you just go, no need to authenticate. You just go to, look at the information there and you go off. I'm using my portfolio, for example, that my portfolio is a website. Jumia is a web application. Your bank app is a mobile application. Do you understand the difference between these three?
Yes, more, yes,
Yes,
more, yes,
ma.
more, yes, more.
And
Yes, ma.
for web app, when somebody tell you web app, now web app, remember I said is actually something you can, access through your browser. Now, in a web app, you're going to design the web view and the mobile view. Then for a website, you're going to design the web view and the mobile view. But for the mobile application, you're only designing starting from the splash onboarding, welcome, the sign up, the login, forgot password before the home page. But for websites, it's just the landing page, if there are about page, service page, FAQ, you are done. Portfolio, you are done. But the web app, you get to design the landing page, product page, checkout. When you get to checkout, you now have to go back and start designing your sign up and sign in. Your login and forgot password, OTP, creating of password before you continue the flow down to your profile page. So that's how it is being done, and you're going to design the web and the mobile. Okay, so if that is understood, I still don't have access to share my screen. So I think I have to draw their attention for them to give me access to share my screen so that we can start designing the mobile application. So okay, you guys have already dropped message. So I'm also going to reach out to them again. You can do that on the chat box. I'm also going to do that.
Sorry, ma. Please, can you call her? Or maybe you should talk to Buma. Can you hear me, ma?
Just hold on. Wow.
Should we beep a line like WhatsApp call? Should we just beep her on WhatsApp?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I said if you have access to them, please call them from your end. None of them is picking my
Yeah,
call.
yeah, she's doing it. She's doing it already.
Okay.
Mr. Paul,
Mr. Paul, who is Paul, please? Unmute.
I already sent him a message. I
Yeah,
sent him a message now.
yeah. Sharifa said you can make make Helen host from there. Okay,
Mr. Paul,
we've gotten us.
Mr. Paul,
Next Factory is now the host. Now it's no longer Paul.
Who is Mr. Paul?
he's no longer the co-host again. He's no longer the host again.
Okay. I've reached out to Boma. She will soon reach out to them. I don't think
Alright, man, you're the host now.
Okay, yeah, same. Okay, thank you. All right, let's continue. Sorry for the whole delay. Okay, so I guess you guys understood what websites, web app, and mobile application is. I can see wisdom on the file. So today we are going to design just a very simple, very simple food app. And although food app are not blue color, but we are just going to use the blue color
Sorry,
based on what.
Mark, have you sent the link before?
Yes, you guys have the link. I can share it again if you want to.
Please.
You can see a lot of you
Thank you.
guys. So I'm going to drop it on the chat box. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. If you are free to come on the file if you want to come on the file, but you don't have access to it, just to look around, see what I'm doing. So we've already created our mobile grade, colors, typography. So we're going to use that already, and we're going to use our some of our components. Okay, we're not going to use any of the components. No, we're going to create new one from scratch because this button created here are mostly used for websites. You don't hover a button on a mobile app. You don't hover button. You have click and display. Yeah, you just have the display button. So the only thing we are going to use here is, remember I said you don't on a mobile application, you don't hover a button. You don't hover a button. Hover work for only cursor, like cursor, this cursor that is moving around, it only works for that. But since it's a mobile application that you have to download, it's just a display button. So that means you're going to use one of our button, just one, the display button. So we're going to use the display button. So I'm going to scroll up. So we're going to use only this button. So that's what we're going to use. But I'm not going to drag it. I'm going to create a new one from scratch. Yeah, I can see a lot of you guys on the file. So first thing first is I'm going to have my display. I'm just going to have the display and everything that like. So I'm just going to give it a name like a guide. So you don't have access to edit, I'm sorry. So this is what I'm going to call my guide. So I'm going to create my button. So we already have typography created, but this typography created are just for the website, but we can still use it. We can use from 28, 24 down, 28. You can use from 28 down. So I'm just going to create. I'm sorry, you can't edit. You only have access to view. So the only thing I'm going to add here is going to be, there's going to be 12, 10, and 8. But due to time, and I believe you guys can create that, so we're just going to, add new one and then use. Remember, you're going to use the same style guide. You're still using the same typography style guide. So if you're adding, you go to your style guide and add. So we're going to use whatever is there. Anyone that is not there, we're going to, add it. So first thing first is I dropped a frame. Let me create my active or display buttons and any other components I need to create for my app. I'm just going to add it. So we're just going to create a simple app. We're just going to create, we're just going to create display of input and just app. Let's say splash, onboarding, maybe the login or the sign up. You're going to choose one. We're going to create the sign up. We're going to create maybe yes, the sign up. We're going to create then home page and maybe one other page. Okay, and then do prototype for those ones. So first thing first is I've dropped my frame and I'm going to create my button. So I want to create my button. So this is going to be my button. So I'm going to zoom in. So like I said, we'll be using the color and the fonts, local styles, whatever we've created here, that's what we'll be using. So this is what we are going to be using as our button. I'm still going to use white, then make it a component, and then add a fill color. Sorry, make it auto layout and then add a fill color. Now I'm going to make my button to be hugged and I'm going to give it a corner radius here. So this is corner radius. So corner radius for my button is going to be 10. And let's use the word. Let me use sign up. Let's use the word sign up. So I've made it auto layout at the center and it is hug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a component. So this is going to be a display button. I'm not going to, add it over or anything. It's just a display button. So this display button is actually a good button for mobile application, and hover button is actually a good button for a web app, web view, and website. So you only use hover on a larger screen. You don't use hover on a smaller screen. It is a no-no. Hover cursor doesn't work for your phone. So cursor work for only a larger screen. So that's when you're going to use hover. So yeah, we're just going to have a display button, sign up, sign in. So I'm just going to quickly interchange the color. So I'll come here, I'll make this so let's quickly change the color. So this is going to be stroke. Yeah, and this is going to be this color. So this is going to be white. Let me not use white. Let me use this color. So this is going to be. Let's use the word login. I think I'll have to use white. I don't like the display of that color. So I'm just going to use white and make the stroke to be 1.5. Yeah. So I have my sign up and login button. So this is just like the primary and secondary button. So I'm going to name this and call it. So this is going to be app button. So this is going to be app button. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to, come to this place and use my mobile. So I'll be using iPhone 13 and 14. So that's what I'll be using. Now this is the frame I'll be using. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name to splash screen. So once I change to splash screen, I will just change the color. Since it's a splash screen, I will be using this blue for my splash. So I'll be using a dummy food app. So, but before we do that, I will have to go to community to get maybe random logo and also status bar. I believe we all know what is status bar. Does someone want to say something? Joy, do you have anything to say?
No,
So
ma, no,
I'll go
ma.
to. Hmm? Okay,
Please, ma,
let's
just come
continue.
again. What did you say? I didn't get that, sir. Ma, yes, ma.
Okay, I said we'll be designing a mobile app. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to drop our splash screen. I believe everybody know what is splash screen. Splash screen, immediately you download your app from your app store. Let me use Piggyverse. I believe everybody use Piggy. In fact, let me use your local bank. Now, once you download your local bank app, Kuda, Opay, UBA, GT, First Bank, Access Bank, Wema Bank, whatever bank you are using. Now, immediately you download the app, the first thing you will see a colored screen that carries the logo, right? No.
We can hear you, ma.
Okay. So once that we are trying to download, we are trying to design the splash screen. So we'll be using blue color. So this particular one, I don't have a logo, so I'm just going to use a dummy logo. And while we are using a dummy logo, while we are trying to create our splash, I'm going to duplicate this one. Control D, Alt and drag. This duplicate can work for screens, but duplicate doesn't work for a component. It's complicated. So now while we're doing that, I'm just going to, design my onboarding screen. I believe you know what is onboarding screen or walkthrough screen. Onboarding screen is actually a screen that tells you a brief history of what is going on in your app. So that is what onboarding means. What you get to see, I'm going to use Piggyverse. I so much love Piggyverse onboarding screen where they get to tell you save your money, lock your savings to avoid temptation until your maturity date. That is when you're going to withdraw. They will tell you another one, save for 3 months, but if you try to collect the money, you get a breaking fee. You know those kind of information that you just tell your user on the on the screen where you get to click next. You get, some people doesn't read, some people read. So those things are called onboarding screen. So now we're going to use one stone to kill two birds. Now I'm going to look for a dummy logo, and I'm also going to look for a status bar. Now let's go to community to get a status bar. I believe you all know what is status bar. Now remember we're using frame iPhone 13 or 14. So in this aspect, we're going to use iPhone 13 status bar. So let's go to community. So I want to go to community without closing this. I want to go to community without closing this page. So I'll have to open another page. I'm not more of the Chrome person, I'm more of the app. But if it's app, I'm just going to, go back to, how the desktop works. But this particular one, if you want to use Chrome, you will have to close that particular page. But in this page, I'm not closing the page. I'm just going to, open another tab for the design. So we'll go to community. So explore community. So I'm just going to search for status bar. Now we're going to use iOS. So we're designing for iOS. So we're going to use iPhone 13. So I'm going to open this one, this particular one. So I'll open it. Open in Figma.
Is there status bar for Android?
Is there status bar for what?
Android.
Yes.
Mm.
A status bar for tablets. You can get this browser tab like this. I don't know for Windows, but for iOS Mac, you will see. So I don't want to open anything on the app. I want to use the browser. So I'm just going to open everything here. So while that is opening, so let's see if we can see a random food logo from the community. So let's see if we can get a random food logo from community. We can just duplicate and just use on our design. So I'm looking
Can I quickly
for
ask a question?
any. Yeah, sure.
What's the difference between this community and the one of blogging?
Community, you can find community just like let me use our WhatsApp group for example. A WhatsApp group is a community where you get to see other people's design. Please, if you're not saying anything, just mute. Like your echo is bouncing back here and it's actually distracting. Now, community is like, let me don't use WhatsApp group for example, because it's more of desire. Now, community, let me use let me use a particular local government. Let me use a particular state, for example. Now you have, let me use Port Harcourt because I'm familiar with Port Harcourt. Now we have Port Harcourt as a community, as a designer, you get to see icon, you get to see other people's design. You get to see other people's design. Now, before I explain this thing now, if you go to your Figma, now if I go to my Figma, this is my Figma. Now let me go to my dashboard. Now this is my Figma dashboard. Now, now this is my Figma dashboard. It's loading. Now, if I go, this is how my Figma look like. If I go to this place, if I go to where is it again? If I click on here, you will see that it's telling me my community profile. Now let me switch to my main account and show you something. Now, if you want to see other people's design, not only just their UI, you get to see people look like people have designed a random logo and put there and say, oh, if you want to design anything, come and take the logo. If you want to design anything that concerning icon, come and take it. Now, this is my main community. This now you can see that I've published only 2 stuff on the community, and over 180 persons actually used this, and 5% liked it. 1% liked this, and 50% has actually viewed. So this is like a community where it's like a state where everybody, a brand identity designer, UI UX designer, anything you know how to design, as long as it's on Figma that you design, you can just push it to community. So if you are looking for inspiration to design your own, you can just go to the community and search by what you're looking for, and then you get. So that is what you can see: web, mobile, icon, brand identity, complete style guide. You can even see somebody's complete style guide. It's being published in the community. You just go there and see. It's just like a bag of resources where you get to sort out whatever you're looking for, and then you can use it for free. There are others that will put a specific price, but trust me, it's not expensive. You just see $5, $15. You can even see $15 for somebody's complete project. So it's just like a toolbox where you get to sort whatever equipment you need to sort out for your project. That's what a community look like. And you get to see there is editable. You get to see them editable. You're not going to, you just, once you open, automatically it will just duplicate to your own file. That's what community is all about. So while we're doing that, so let me get the status bar and then somebody's logo. So I'm trying to see if I can get logo from the community. So I'll go back to this place. I'm gonna take lights now. So while it's opening, let me go and get, so I need icon. So I'm just going to duplicate already existing. So I'm just going to duplicate anyone from here and just use, since it's something that is already existing, what it's just a dummy icon. Okay, so this is actually opening. So let's go and get our status bar. So I am designing for, so this is where I'm going to pick. Now you can see this is how for iPhone and iPad. Okay, so I'll be picking the first one. This is for iPad. If I scroll down, you see that this is for iPad. So I'll be using for iPhone 13. So I'm just going to copy and come back to my Figma, and then I'll paste it. So once I paste it, I'm just going to adjust it inside. I'm going to also check if it's actually the same size. So if you want to turn off with network, you can see that people have already made it easier for us. So if I want to turn with network, you can see if I want to zoom in and do what I'm showing you guys something. Now this is what you do. So with network, without network, you can see add location. So if I add location, this is how it's going to be. So I'm going to scroll here. So click on this. You can see that you can select. So I think I'll have to go with this. You can come here and change the time. You can come here and change the time, but I'm not changing the time. I'm okay with the 9:41, whether PM or AM. So I'm okay with this, and I'm going to leave the location on. So I'm just going to work with this. I'll just leave the location on. I think I like it like this. So let's go back to our food logo to see if we have something. So I'm just going to close this particular one and then get just people's logo already, since it's just for practical we are using it. Okay, so I'll be using, this is actually on a white background, so I'll go and get the one on a darker background so it will reflect as white for me. So I'll be using Which one should we use? Should we use Subway? Let's just use this. Let's just use this.
No McDonald's.
Okay. Let's just,
Uh,
so let's just use this and come back to our design and then scroll out. So we're just using a
well,
random
this
logo.
this status bar can is the only one with dynamic island.
Yes, you can get it. Yes, you can. You can. So remember when you get the one with dynamic island. So when you are prototype, you're going to select the one with dynamic island so that it will reflect in your design. So I'm just going to reduce, like I want to, I've done something that you guys are going to question me. Now you can see that this logo is actually very, very big. You can see that I can even select which one I want. If I want Subway, you can see that the community, people has made things easier for us in community where you just get, you can see that what if I don't want to use this McDonald's? Now I can use Burger King, I can use this, I can use that, but now we're using McDonald's. Where is it again? So that's what we're using. So now you can see that this thing is actually bigger inside here. Now I want to reduce this thing. Now I know some of us will just come here and skate, but if you skate, you actually not get the same level and it might even stretch. So what I'm going to do in this aspect, I will just come to this place, click on this move to and click on scale. So once I click on scale, I already know that this size is 390. And now and whatever I'm doing inside here should be lesser than 390. So I'm just going to click here, come to this place. So I'll come to this place and we'll just click 300. So once I just click 300, type 300, I'll just click enter. Automatically it will just get small like this, and then I'll just bring it inside here. So once I bring it inside here, now I don't want to use this black background. So I'm going to come here. Now look at the fill color. So I'll just come here and select my blue, and then automatically I will close this white. I don't need it. So if you just want to make this design to actually look nice, you can go ahead and add text, add whatever you want to add, but I'm just going to leave it like this. So I'm just going to leave it and I'm okay. Let's just add. Okay, leave it. Let's leave it like this. So I'm just going to leave it this way. I'm going to work with it this way. Now remember we've created our layout grid. So automatically I will just come here and then select it for the mobile. Now this is it. Now I want to design my onboarding screen. So how do I want my onboarding screen to look like? I want my onboarding screen to carry an image. So let me show you guys what an onboarding screen
Sorry,
looks like.
ma. How do you get the layout grid, ma?
We've already done it in our last class. We did that on Friday, on Thursday, on Thursday. Now this is what an onboarding screen looks like. So this is what an onboarding screen looks like, where you get to tell what's happening on your app. It can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. I think the maximum is 5, but you don't get to put too much information to bore your user. You get, so the minimum is 3. You can do 2. 2 is not bad. You can do 2, but 1 doesn't make sense. 2 is okay. 3 is perfect. 4 is perfect. 5 is, kind of you're going to bore your user with too much reading and images. So this is what an onboarding screen does. So in our aspect, we are going to use something like this that says quality food, fast delivering, and then add one more. But you guys are going to be the one to suggest the content. So we're going to work together in this aspect. So this is what we are going to do. Quality food, fast delivery, and maybe 2 for service, or you can say fast payments, fast delivering, and then quality food, whatever content that we choose to use. So that's what we're going to do. Now, first thing first is I'm going to use my text. I'm going to write here. This is going to be quality food. So we are not going to use this kind of tiny text. Now remember I said we've already created some text layout here. So that's what we are going to use. So I'll be using 24. You can use 28. But remember I said for mobile application, you use from 28 below, 26 below, 27 below, but it must be 28 below. 28 is actually big, but depending the kind of font, that's why I say font 28, font 28 below. Now, for a font like Poppins and Montserrat, you use 24 because those fonts, remember I said those fonts look like chubby fonts. So using 28 is going to make it look too big. So you just get to use 24. 26 is actually okay, but you use 24, 26. But using 28 for font like Montserrat and Poppins, it will make it look too big, like too big, like I don't chop belly full. Okay, let me use that word. Now I'm going to change this color to be I mean black, and this is what I already have. So I'm just going to duplicate, and then I'm going to use a body text. So body text I'll be using is 18, and I'm just going to use a dummy content. I'm not going to use, start asking ChatGPT. Let me just use a dummy content. Let's say you are running out of content, or you just want to get a simple, let's say you're working with a content writer, and the content writer tells you, oh, Joy, I don't want you to bother yourself with content. Don't worry, leave that job for me. I'm going to do it. Now, what you're just going to do, you're just going to use a text holder. Now, text holder is, you're not going to type Jaguars. No. What you're going to do is there's a plugin called Lolling Insum. So that plugin, you just have to use it to create dummy text. You're just going to use to create a dummy text and leave it for your content writer to use. So what I'm going to do now, I need that dummy text. I'll just come to this place, then I'll search for content gray. Now this is how it look like. Now this is actually a new this is a new plugin that I've not saved, I've not used. So I'm just going to search for it and then click on it. So once I click on it, this is how it look like because this is a new content. So I'm going to save it here. And I'm also, once I'm done saving it, this is how it look like. So I'll just come here and then click on it. Automatically it runs. So you see that if you don't want to save it, no problem. But if you want to save, you save and then run. But if you don't want to save it at all, you just want to use for a one-time use, you just click on run and automatically it will load for you. So mine is loading. So it has opened. So I'm just going to push this here. Click on this, my text here. So once I click on this text, I'll come to this place that says text. So once I click on it, I'm going to just click this one that says, now you can see that immediately I click on it, automatically it fills. So I'm just going to close this and then I'll zoom out. So once I zoom out, you can see that the text is actually long. I'll just come here and then drag it inside. This is what I will just do. So once and then the center, I'll click here, align to the center. Now all these things are too much. I don't need it. It's too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut from here and then take this out. So I'm okay with this. Then I don't want this color and this color to be the same. This is like my title text and this is my body text. I don't want my body text to be, black. I want it to be like gray, not the dark, not the lighter shade of gray, but the darker shade of gray. So I'm going to use this gray. Now, remember I said whatever you are doing is not going to cross this margin. So I'm just going to drag this here this way. Now you see that this line will show me that it has gotten to this point. So I'm going to place this here. How many screens do you want to tell your user that they have on this part on body? Like how many on body screen do you want to do? So in this
3.
aspect, I'm designing. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay, Miriam.
Yes, Maria.
Okay, Miriam raised up her hand. If I'm too fast, please. Somebody said, okay, she said, what if we already have an existing logo that is colored? How can we convert it to white for the splash screen? Just vice versa, colored screen and then white splash. Then you can also tell the person to give you, to give you a white screen. Now let me do something. So let me show you something. So now let's assume that, let me take this here and let me take this here again. Oh. Now let's say, now this is Miriam's question. Now you want to create a colored logo and a white background. So I'm just going to hold this and change it to, so I'm just going to take this out here so it will not confuse me first. So I'm just going to take this out. So splash is going to be white. So I will select white. Now, this white is going to be blue. Now I'm going to take this out. So we have this. So this is how it's going to be. Just interchange them. But we're going to play around with these two for our prototype. So I'm going to leave it. Now let's continue now. I want my onboarding screen to be 3. So this is where I will have to go. So let me get my shape and take measurements. Those 3 dots you will see. Those are called a carousel. So I'm just going to use my rectangle to take the measurements here. So I'm going to give corner radius of 100 because I want it to be very curved. So this is going to be like 20, and I'm going to drag it a little. So once I drag a little, I'm just going to use my circle eclipse and I'll just drop it and then make it 20, 20, like the height and the width to be 20, 20. Now this is what we have. So I'm just going to, cut. But before we cut, I will have to check and see if it's okay. Now you can see that this is actually looking big. Now let's look at it from the phone angle. So I'm going to come to prototype. So I'll click out. So once I click out, I'll come here and select my device. So and what I'm using is iPhone 14. So that's what I'm using. So I'll click on iPhone 14. So once I click on iPhone 14, do I want the phone display to be whatever color? I think I'll have to go with midnight. Then the background, you want it black. So if you choose red, this is how it's going to be. But I'm just going to use black. So you can either preview in 2 ways. So you can click here to preview to open the next page, or you can click here to preview. So I'll go with preview so that my phone display will be here. Now, let me say something before I continue. Now, another disadvantage of designing a web and a mobile on one particular Figma file is when you want to present or preview your work, always make sure to remove it. Like, always make sure to remove it from the phone before you can present for the laptop, for the web view. Then, if you want to present for the web view, remember to put it back to the web, to the mobile app, like to the phone display before you can present. That is the only disadvantage of using one frame. Okay. Now this is what we have here. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to explain that again. Now you can tell that this is actually looking so big. Now you can tell that this is actually looking so big. So I'm going to come here to reduce it. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to go back to design. Then I'll click on it. So I'm going to reduce the height to 15. I think 15 is actually looking small. So I'm just going to use 17 and let's see. I think I'm okay with 17. So I'm just going to hold these 2 here and then make it 17, 17. And then I'll reduce this to maybe 40. So there's no particular number for it. I just prefer giving it number. Okay. So I'm going to hold this state together and then I'm going to add auto layout to it. So once I add auto layout to it, I don't like it's scattered. The space between them is too much. So I'm just going to come to this my auto layout settings and then reduce it here. So once I reduce it here, I think I'm good to go. So I'm just going to close this and hold this. So I think the 4 is too close. So I'm just going to come here. I'm going to add them here and then create them as components. So I'm going to work with my gray color. So I'm just going to hold this and then work with my lighter shade of gray, or you can work with this white and then hold this one and then work with the main blue. So it will just look, nice. So the next thing I'm going to do, since it's already in auto layout, I'm just going to come here and then make it a component. So once I make it a component, I'm just going to add a variant. So once I add a variant, this is how it's going to be. So since it's actually going to be 3, 1, 2, 3, I'll just scroll to my layouts here, scroll here, and then I'll just bring this rectangle and move it to the center. So this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to click on variant 2, and you can choose to immediately change the name. So I'm just going to hold my variant 2 and then click on this add variants here and add another one. So once I add another one, I'm going to come here to variant 3 and then open it and then move the rectangle to be at the last. So this is how it will look like. Okay, so this is going to be page 1, page 2, and the last. Now let's go back. So remember to always change the name. So this is going to be, so I'm just going to scroll up and then name this like, so let me just put the word set. I'm just going to place it here. So I'm just going to come here and then click on the default and then copy. So once I copy, or you can drag, like hold your Alt and then drag. Put your Alt and then drag it. And then come to this place. How do you want it to be displayed here? So mine is going to be here. And then the next I'm going to have is my button. So no need of going to that corner. So I'm just going to come here. Where is it? Sorry, this is going to be page. This is actually showing me the page one. Now, since I have renamed my page, it's showing me website landing page. So I'm just going to go back and click on mobile app design. So when I click on mobile app, you can see that I have created 2 components. So I'm just going to drag this one here. So once I drag this one here, I'm just going to, go back to my file here. So I'm going to change this to next. So once I change this to next, so remember I said the height of our buttons for the thumb, for the your thumb is going to be between 45 to 60. Now I'm going to go, but I don't like this shape side, the height of this 45. So I'm just going to come here and hold this to make it 50. So I'm going to work with 50. So once I go to the component and make any adjustment, automatically it will reflect here. Automatically it will reflect here. Now, if you can tell, this is actually 50. So this is one sweet thing about component. So I'm just going to drag this here and hold this together and then place to the center. So I already have this and I have this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this a bit down, and then I'm going to go for my illustrations. So I'm just going to turn off this layer grid and then duplicate. Now you can see I've already done the 3. Now before you will duplicate, make sure you've arranged all these ones, like everything is well settled before you can duplicate. Now if you come to this place, now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'll just come here. I don't need to go to that place. So what I'll just do, I'll just click here, scroll up, come to this property, click on it, and then select this, come to this place, and then select the third one. So once I've selected the third one, I will just come to this place and here should be like get started. Now you can see that this my button is actually not in hug. That's why as I'm typing, it's not reflecting. Now, because I have actually dragged it out, like I expand the width. That's why it's actually not in hug. You can see that it is in fix. You can see that it is in fix. So if I move to hug, this is how it's going to look like. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to return it back to hug and then type get started. Now you can see that it's actually just moving. So this is going to be like get started. So once it's get started, it's actually going to be long. So just come here, turn your layout grid, turn it on, click it, and just hold your shift and drag it inside so that everything will be the same line. So I'm going to hold here again and then turn off my layout grid. So like I said, this is going to be fast payments, or let's say secure payments. Let's use the word secure payments. At least let somebody know that, oh, I'm putting my card, I'm saving my card on this particular app and it's actually safe. So I'm just going to come here and then click on alignment, positioning, and align horizontal center. And then here is going to be fast delivery. So I'm just going to hold my, I'm going to come to position and align horizontal center. So I already have this. Now you can see that our 3 screens are ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly get an illustration. So where I can find illustration like this, you can get illustration from story sets, story sets, sorry, not stories, story sets .com. You can get from free pics, you can get from on draw, you can get from on draw, you can get from, I think I have a lot I actually save. So you can get from on draw, you can get from lodge icon, you can get from vectors, you can get from free vectors illustration. What is the name of this site again? Flexible.com. You can get from I think I'm going to, just somebody should remind me, I'm going to copy this link I bookmark and then share on the group for us to have access to it. I disconnected my WhatsApp. I can just do that now, but somebody should remind me later. So this is going to be like food. So I'll just come here and search for food. Now, one thing about this particular story set is story set has 5 type of illustration type, like 5 type. Do you want them to have face? Like I'm going to show you the 5 types so that you see. So let's look for food. Now let's look for food. Let's use quality food. So I'll be using. Can you guys hear me?
I hear
Yes,
you.
ma, we are hearing you.
Okay, I want to be sure. Now let's use this particular lady enjoying her food. Let's scroll if you can actually see anyone. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one that look like tomatoes or something like that. So let's go with this one that has this purple something. Now you can see that now it's telling you to check other styles. Now you can see that it has this particular one. It always comes in green color. Do you want this spanner? Do you want this cutate? I don't know if it's cutate. Do you want it amco? So you can see that there are 4 types of, sorry, not 5, 4. 4 types of illustration coming from story sets. That's one thing. So you get to choose which one you want. So I'll be going with spanner. I will be going with spanner. So I can change the color. I can download as SVG. I can download as PNG. So if you don't want to download as SVG, just want to download as PNG, you just come to this place and change the color. So I'll go back to my Figma and I'm going to copy the color code. So I'll come here. So I'm going to come here and then pick the blue color. So I'm just going to remove this to pick the color. So I'll Control C, return it back, come here and then paste the color. So this is where I'm going to paste the color. So I'll just Control V. So you can see that it has automatically changed. So in this aspect, I'll be exporting this as PNG. So let's just export as PNG. So I'm going to download. Now the next one is going to be fast delivery and secure payment. So I'm just going to look for everything at once. So this is where your search bar is. So I'm going to look for payments. So I'll be using this particular, let's see the one that is actually fine. So since it's something that we can pay online, I'll be using this one. So I'm using Pana. Remember, I'm using Pana. So it's telling you to check other styles. So you can see that I'm using this particular one. See, bro. See this particular one. See this particular one. You can see that their illustration is actually different. This one have more of small head and big body. So this is actually okay with face. You can see how this illustration look like. You get, so there are different kinds of illustration. You just like 5 in 1. So you can just pick anyone you pick using. But since I'm using one particular style of illustration, I'll be using this spanner. So this part I'm just going to download as SVG. So I'll download PNG SVG and show you how you can work together with it. So the last one is actually going to be delivery. So I'll just look for a
You didn't change the color of that banner.
yes, I download it as SVG. I want to download as PNG and SVG and show you how both of them work.
Okay.
Mhm. So this is going to be like delivery. So you can see they have this delivering parts. So what kind of delivery should we use? So since I'm using one particular one, I'll be using this one. So I'm just going to click on this and I'm going to also download as SVG. So I want to download as SVG and PNG and show you how both of them work. So I'm going to go back to my Figma and I'm going to import. So I'm just going to scroll out and then import. So this is where you can import from your shape. You come here to import images. So this is the hamburger. So I'm just going to scroll and look for the remaining. So this is payment. And then the last one. So I'm just going to bring them in.
Sorry, Mark, can I quickly ask question where you're trying to import?
We are not seeing.
Yes, she's trying to import, you can see it. So,
Yeah, you can see
Mark,
my system. I'm only sharing something. Yeah, go ahead.
so concerning the scroll button that you did,
Concerning what?
one second. Concerning that scroll button that you did, that you changed, that you did three scroll button. Is this scroll button? Right?
Carousel, yes.
Okay.
This one.
Yes. Can you do the same thing on a low fidelity wireframe?
Yes.
This same function.
Yes. Whatever is on your low fee,
Uh,
that is what is going to reflect in. You get to high fee. So the reason why we're not doing low fee is because it is under the UX part. My part is just to show you the UI. So remember when I said before you start designing your high fee, you've actually now remember there's five design thinking process, which is the empathy, get to understand your user, hydrate and define. You've understand your user, you will define their problem. Now, defining their problem is understanding their pain points, you know, then hydrate. Hydrate is creating new solution for them where user journey map falls in, flowchart falls in. Now, when your flowchart falls in, what is the next thing you need to do? Is your low fidelity. Now, your flowchart is like breaking your flowchart into screens. That's when the low fidelity comes in. Now, yes, I want my users to click on the and interact on the splash, click on next, and they get to the third screen, sign up, do this, do that. Whatever is on your low fee, that's what is going to be on your on your mid fee. That's what is going to be on your high fee. Now, in this class, we are just assuming that we already have our low fee and mid fee designed somewhere. So we are now designing the final stage for this wireframe. Do you understand?
well, yes, I understand.
Okay. Just give me a second, please. Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that. My body system is actually disturbing me, so I had to go and take water. Okay, so we've download our app, so our illustration. Remember these two. SVG, while this one is in PNG. So this is actually looking so big and it's too big for our design. So I'm going to repeat that same method of scaling. So I'm going to come here, click on scale, come here. So this is the place, so not here. This particular one that says scale. So I'm just going to type 250. Or you can come here and then drag it this way. You can come here and drag it this way till you get your desired shape. Then you put it here. So this is too big. I'm just going to reduce it more. Now I'm going to also come to this one. So I'm going to click here and then drag it to my desired shape. Remember, I've not changed the color. So I'm just going to drag it. I just want to drag it to my desired shape. Then I'll bring it to this place. Yeah. Then I'll also do the same thing here. I've not changed the color to my desired color. So I'm just going to come here and then drag it to my desired shape. That's one thing about scale. Scale will not mess your work up. So I'm just going to drag it. This is actually looking smaller. So I'm just going to drag it this way.
So why you not using scale now?
Now, the reason why I'm using scale is because scale will not actually mess my work up. It will not look sketchy. Now, let me bring this guy out here. Now, let me remove it from scale. Let me increase this guy. Now, I'm not holding shift. I'm just holding only my mouse. Now, see. If you make mistake, let's say there's a tiny stone where your mouse is and you just make mistake, you can see that the thing is not actually looking. You can see that this place is already gone and this place is already gone, which is not how it is on this image. So that is one thing about scale. Scale will not mess your work up. So even if you mistakenly shift your hand is not going straight. Scale will not mess your work. Scale will just maintain the position and just stretch it according to. But if you're using only only this your cursor to stretch, it will mess your design up for you. Then another thing too, if you don't want to use scale, you can go ahead. Let me return this back. So if you don't want to use scale, you can go ahead and hold your shift key, and then use your mouse to drag it this way. You can see it's actually maintain the position. You can see because the reason is because I'm holding my shift. I'm holding my shift. But if I remove my hand from the shift, now you can see that immediately I remove my hand from the shift. You saw what happened. You can see. You can see. That is one thing about scale. Scale will not mess your work up for you. That's one thing I love about scale. Now I think I'm okay with this. Now I downloaded this tool in SVG. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to hold them together. Remember, I'm holding them together here. Remember, I'm holding them together here. So I'm just going to come here, scroll to selected colors. So once I come to selected colors, now this is another thing that most designers don't actually like doing. They prefer to go to the website and then change the color before um, downloading it as SVG or PNG. Now you can see that which one. Now it is left for you. It is left for you. Either you want to change the color, export as SVG, or you want to change the color and export as PNG, or you don't want to change the color at all. You just want to come to your Figma and change the color. Now the choice is yours. Now you can see that the main color on this thing is actually this um, red color, which is this particular shade of red. So I'm just going to hold my illustration together and come here click on it, and then select my blue. This is it. You can see that everything will change. So I'm just going to align this to the center. So I'll scroll to the top and then position it to the center. I'll also do the same thing I did here. So I'm just going to hold this. Now this is the main color, and then I'll select this. Now this particular blue, this blue black doesn't, it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. But you can choose to use another color, but it's not compulsory that you must use the brand color. So this particular one, this blue burger is actually looking odd in my eye. So I think I'll prefer the original color used on this particular illustration. So I'll go back and I'll select food. I actually don't like the blue burger, so I will use the, that shade of red burger for it. I think it's more finer than this blue burger. So I will use food. So while it's loading, so let's see if we can see another food. That's blue burger. So I'm just going to use so it's loading. So I think I'll have to use this particular one. That blue burger is, it actually look odd. Or let's try this particular one. So this is actually the food illustration. This is not more like the human being illustration. So it doesn't matter which of the food illustration style you are using. It doesn't matter. So I think I'll have to use, this is actually looking odd in my eye. So I'll use this one. So let's change to blue color and see. So I think I already have the color code. This is even the worst. So which one do you think can work for us, guys? I think we should work with this, 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 or this. I think the first one is okay. I think the first one is okay. So I'm just going to download as PNG. So once I download as PNG, automatically it is saved on my laptop. So I'm just going to come back to my Figma. Now, another thing is, if I don't want to, import another pattern of importing image into your Figma now. Now, this is another pattern I'm going to show you. Now, I'm just going to click on this and I will come to the place that says image. So I'm going to click on upload from your computer. So I'm going to upload from my computer and then automatically it will change. If I don't want to change the position, they change anything, you can see that it will just change immediately. So there's no need of resizing, there's no need of this, there's no need of that. You just change and take the position. I think I like this one. So now you can see that our onboarding screen are good to go. So the next thing we're going to do is I just have to duplicate this screen and take out all this information because I don't need them anymore. So the next thing I'm going to design is going to be the sign up screen. So I'll be designing the sign up screen. And so the sign up screen, what are the information we need on our sign up screen? What are the information you want your user to input when trying to sign up for their account? So the first thing is going to be their full name, email address, password, and phone number. So you're going to put it according to full name, email address, phone number, and password. And then
Confirm
we have,
password.
no, it's going to be very long. So it's just a short screen. So you can choose to add confirm password if you want to, but I'm just designing everything to be short. Full name, email address, phone number, password. We have our button that says sign up and a short text that says already have an account, login. So now the first thing we are going to do, we are going to go back and create our um, interactive input field. Now I want to create an input field. Remember, I'm using the height button is 50. So my input field and my button is going to be the same size. So now let's create an interactive input field. So I'm going to come here. So I'm going to put type text here. So this is going to be full name. So this is going to be full name. So I'm going to zoom in. So I'll not be using this thick one. So this is where I will have to use 16. So I'll have to use 16. And I will have to change the color to be gray. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it auto layout, Shift A, auto layout, auto layout will be added. So now I'm using height button of 50. So I'm going to scroll here. So I'm going to make it 50. Now, because the reason I'm making it 50, I want my input field and button to be the same. Remember, it's my thumb I'm using to tap the phone. So the height is going to be, for height, I'm not going to determine a particular, sorry, the width, I'm not going to determine. So I'm going to come here, drop it here. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to turn this on and take the measurement from here. So I'm going to take the measurement from here. So it's going to be, so I'm going to add it a stroke to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to add it here and then drag it to this point. So I've gotten what I want. I can click here and then turn it off. And then I'll go back. Then I'll go back to my component frame and then start working on it. Yeah. I'm going to give it corner radius. So corner is sure, but I already know. Now I don't like this thickness. It's too thick. So I'm going to use gray color for it. So I'm going to use the lighter shade of gray, so which is going to be this. So this is actually okay. So I don't like how it's too like it's too thick. So I'm just going to come here and make it 0.6. I want it to be very thin, fitted. Now this gray is giving me red kind of gray. So I'm just going to come here to edit this style and then pick the blue. So it's giving me this red pattern. So I'm just going to come here and select this blue. So that it can be like this. So whatever you change here, remember you go to your main style guide and change it. Don't forget. So I'll be using this. Now I want this guy to get to this point. So how do I do that? Now with auto layout, you don't need to stress yourself. Just scroll to the setting and then align to the left. So once you align to the left, this is how it will look like. So if you want to move it more, you can see that if I take my cursor out, now if I bring my cursor slowly, you see that there's line here, there's line here, here, and here. So what I'm just going to do here, you see that automatically it will reflect here. I think I like this my screen. This is actually good to go. The weight and the height is okay, and I love how arranged it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a component. Create a component, add a variant. So once I add a variant, now how do I want it to look like when I tell a user? Like, you know, when a user click on it, it's going to change. Then when you are typing, it's going to change. So I want to create the three of them. Now this is what I'm going to do. Now I've created how it's going to look when it's being displayed. Now I want it to have another look when a user wants to type. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use small letter L. Then I'm going to make it to be bold. Now, since we don't have for bold, I'm just going to, now remember we are designing for a mobile and we don't have this particular um typography set in our local styles. So you can remove it and set the one you want. Remember, wherever you set on this place, you go back to your style guide and set it. But since we are not, going back to our style guide to set it, or just make sure you write it down somewhere and it is compulsory that you will do it to avoid misunderstanding between you and the developer. Don't forget to always remember. So now I'm going to change this color to be blue. So I'm going to use primary one and I'm going to make it to be, I want it to stand out. I want this ones to stand out. So I'm going to use 1.5. So this is how it's going to look like. So this particular one inside, I'm going to use primary color 1. So this is what I'm going to use. So once I'm done, I'm just going to, you can come here to use this one or you can come here to use this one. So I'm just going to click here and then add another variant. Now, how do you want it to look when it's being displayed that a user is done typing his or her name? So yeah, I'm going to change it to my name. So I'll be using my full government name. So this is my full government name. So I don't want it to be the same way as this. I will have to change this to black. So once I change it black, I think I will have to now use okay, I think this regular is actually perfect. So for this part, I'm just going to change this one. So I'm just going to change this. So I'm going to change this particular one to be stroke, maybe like let's use 5, but then I'll have to use 1.5. Now you can see that it's showing you it has different, pattern of when you've written your name and all. So this is actually looking close to white. So you have to use 2. So I have displayed when you want to tell a user to write their name. I have when a user is about to write their name and when a user is done writing their name. So I'm going to reduce this to 14 and make it another lighter shade. So this is actually too big. So I'm going to use 14 for it and I will reduce it to this. So now I have three types of input field when a user wants to type. When this is how it look like when a user this is how it will look like for the user. This is when a user wants to type, and this is when a user is done typing. Now I'm going to make sure I rename this. This is going to be first full name. So this is going to be full name. So this is going to be full name. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a small interactive between them because this is like a prototype. When I type, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to click on this, come to prototype here, and then I will have to drag this here. So once I drag this here, automatically I'll get this. So when a user tap, so when a user tap, like when I tap, what should happen? This should happen. And then you click on this one, the same thing here. So all of them is just going to be tap, tap, tap. So now let's interact, let's play with this and see if it's actually correct. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, now remember I want to play around with this. So I'm just going to move this back to no device. So I'm going to, zoom out. So I'm just going to return back to design. Then I'll bring out one of these. So I'm just going to bring one of these here. So once I dump it here, then I'm going to just, play this particular one. So I'm just going to preview. I just want to see what I've done. So you can see that this is actually working. So you can see that this is actually working. So it worked the same way I want. So let me use another frame. So let me use a smaller frame. Let me use a smaller frame and test what I did so that you guys can see it very well. So I'll just drag this here. And then I'll preview this particular small one so that it will be very big. Now, when I click on it, you can see that it works. It works the way I want it. So now, once I'm done, I'm just going to take this out. Now, I've tested that
Sorry,
it's
ma.
actually
Can you do that again for us, please, ma?
okay. If when you guys will say I'm doing magic. Okay, so I'm going to delete this and I'm going to delete this frame. Now, I've done my interactive input field. I want it to be interactive. I don't want to create multiple screens. I just want to create one screen. And when I'm doing the prototype, it will be displaying. You get? Now, how do I check or test what I did if it's working? Now, I have done that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a short frame to test what I did if it's working the way I want it to work. Now I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to copy only this, carry the first one. I'll just drag the first one, that is, duplicate it here. So once I duplicate it here, I'm going to hold this one. Remember, I've removed it from no device so that I can see what I did if it's working perfectly well. So I'm going to hold this frame 1 here and then preview my design. So once I preview, it's going to show on this particular place. Now, this is what I want. Now, when a user wants, this is how it will look like when a user is seeing it. Now, this is how it will look like when a user wants to type it. And this is how it will look like when a user is done typing. So the interaction I did between these three input fields actually work the way I want it. And then I will have to, take delete what I use and test, and then then drag it to this place. Now this is another dragging method, but it's like kind of you're dragging, which is stressful. Now remember I said we are going to do for full name, email, phone number, and password. Now we've done for full name. Now this is another sweet thing about Autolayer, repeated components. I don't need to start creating email from beginning. I'll just duplicate and come here. Then I'll rename it email. Then I'll come here. Here it should be like email address. Then here is going to be my email. So here I'm just going to take out this and make this small letter. And I'm just going to do that for phone number. So I'm going to rename them here. Now, password is actually going to look different because there's going to be an icon. So let's just duplicate and change. So here I'm just going to use two different of type of icons. So here I'm going to use star. And I'm also going to duplicate this. Now I'm going to use, I made this in that easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15. EF GHI G. So this is what I'm going to do here. Now, before we continue, now we'll have to get icon. Now, what kind of collection of icon are we using? Now, collection of icon we are going to use another collection of icon from plugin. Okay. So we're going to use another collection of icon for plugin. So what will I do in this part? So what I'm just going to do is just to come to this place. And then look for icon. So I already have this iconify plugin save. So I'm just going to click on it and then it will open. Just the same way we use content training, that's how you're going to save and then open the icon. So now this is how it look like. So what kind of icon collections are we using? There's material, there's UIDs, there's this. So the collection are so much, they are so much. So what particular collection of icon we'll be using? So you can see both animated icons. So you can see what icon. That is a lot of icon, plenty. So, but in this aspect, we'll be using this particular UI icon here, set. So I'll be using this Huge icon, this one called Huge icon. So I'll just click on it. So once I click on it, it will open. So once it's open, I'll just come to the search bar and then come to here and then filter the icon. So I'll come here and look for I. So I'll be using this. So now the eye, they don't have closed eye or open eye. So what I'm looking for, I need closed eye and open eye. So I have to go back and then look for, I'll use material symbol. Okay, let's use Google material icon. So I'll be using this particular Google material icon. So I'm going to come to, not here, come to this place and search for eye. So if you come here to search, it will give you all of them. So I'm going to also see if I can see closed eye. So it's showing me no match. So what I need an icon that has both open and closed eye. So I think I'll have to look for a better icon. But I think I like which icon. Which icon are so fine. Except you guys want me to use two different icons, which is actually not advisable. So it's better for you to use one set collection of icons. It's actually fine. So I'll be using feather icon. So let's see feather icon. So I'll be using this eye. So most of the icon here is just really open eye. So let's just go here to see if we can get um close and open eye. But it's going to be different selection of eye. It's going to show me different collection of eye. You can see it's showing me different eye icon from different collections. So which is not what I want. So I'm just going to scroll. Like I need open and close eye. I need this and this. But I don't know where this one is coming from. And I can't tell where these ones are coming from. You get, so now this is actually a fill icon and this is outline icon. So this one that has this color is called fill. This one that is like this is called outline icon. So I'll be using this particular one. So I'll be using this particular one. So it's telling me to import as component, it's telling me to import as frame. So I think I'll have to import as frame. So I'll import as frame and also go back here. So it has imported. So it's showing me this green light has imported. So I'm going to come here to look for an icon that actually matches it. But let's go back and use our huge icon. So I'm just going to scroll and look for which icon. Where is it? Which icon? So I'm just going to use this eye. So this eye is giving me somehow. So I'm just going to go back and use feather icon. So let's look for feather icons. There are a lot of icon collection. The choice is yours. You get, the choice is yours. But I just prefer to use. I don't like this. Is giving me feel. Okay, I think I like this feel, but it's somehow. So I'm just going to use outline icon. So I'm just going to type I and then click here. So I'll be using something similar to that one, which is not advisable for a beginner because you might not know how we are going to tweak it. So I would advise you use one particular collection of icons. So I'll be using this one. It's telling me to replace icon. No, I don't want to replace. I need new one. So I'll just click out and then import the new icon. So it's telling me that it has done. So I'm just going to view this. And then now another thing is my eye. You can see that the eye icon. This is how it is. So you don't drag from this group. You make sure that you're holding it from the name here, and then you drag it this way. You will do the same for. So once you click like this, you come to this place layer. You make sure you're not clicking on the group. You're clicking on this one that look like the frame, and then you drag this way. Do the same thing for the other one. So you click on it. So it's taking time to capture. Then hold it like this, and then drag it out. So now this is actually going to be so I'll be using so I'll have to switch these two. So this is going to be like um open eye and this is going to be closed eye. So I'm going to switch this because I'm going to add open eye here. So I'm just going to copy this and then hold this here like this and then I'll paste it this way. So once I paste it, this is how it's going to look like. So first thing first is I'm just going to come here to change the color to my lighter shade of green. So once I shade, I'm going to hold password and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'll just scroll and come here and then drag it this way. Now you can see that I've dragged it this way. Now I've dragged it this way. Another pattern is you just add auto here, automatically it will just fit in. Now remaining 2 at this corner. So I'm just going to drag it this way. You can see that everything will just go 0. So the choice is yours. So you can either come to this place, but I would advise you don't put it in odds. You put it according to the number, so that it will be very easy for you. So I'm just going to take this here. So I'm just going to put this one. I'm just going to switch these two. So this is going to be the open eye, and this is going to be the closed eye, right? So I'm just going to hold this and then change the color to my dark brown. So I'm going to just copy and repeat the same thing here. So I'm just going to paste it here. So once I paste it here, now you check the space between these two. So you check this one. Now you can see that this one. So you can come here and then make it to be 20 years. So I'm just going to repeat the same process I did for that one. So it will reflect for this one. So I'm just going to come here and then drag it. Now, the reason why I'm not going to take the same spacing here is because this is actually looking, this text here is actually looking small. This is actually looking small and this is actually looking big. So the spacing might not be the same thing. So, but I'm just going to reduce this guy a little bit to be here. So this is actually the same color. So this is actually looking thicker. That's why I said you don't have to, you need to use one collection of icon. If not, your icon is actually going to be messed up. But this is like something an advanced person can just change. But I will not advise you to use different collection of icon for your designs to mess up your design for you. You might not understand what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to tweak the icon to blend with one I already have. So I'm just going to get this guy here and then paste it here. Now I want this icon to be going to use my rule.
Ma. Good afternoon, ma. Please, I'm so sorry for interrupting. Can you please resend the link?
Check on the group channel.
I lost it. Yeah,
Or you
I
text
lost it. It's not there
tell
again.
somebody on the tell somebody on this place to send it for you. You can just drop a message on the
I've
chat
been
box and somebody will respond.
I've been sending it on the chat. Nobody has responded.
So I'm just going to align this and then make them the same way. So I'm just going to drag this. So this is where I'm going to position it here. So drag this. So we make sure that it got to this point here. This is okay. And this is actually more than. So I'm just going to click it and then reduce it. Then I'll have to return it. So I'm taking these guys out. So once I take these guys out, I'm going to remove the whole auto layer, the whole component I did here. So sorry, the whole prototype I did here. So I'm just going to come this way. Now, if this prototype actually work for you, fine. If it doesn't work, we're going to remove it. So I want my user to, when they move here, they're going to see what. So I think I'm going to add eye icon here. So I'm going to add the eye icon here. So I'm going to add it here. So now I think I think I'm good with this. Now I'm going to just change this to. So in this part, what I'm just going to do is click on this icon. This and click on this. and then bring it. So you can choose to make this one 2, this one. You can choose to make this one 2, but in this aspect, I don't know that eye icon. So I'm just going to copy this, and then I'll hold these 2, and then I will drag it. So once I'm good to go, I'm going to change this color to blue. So it's going to be blue. So I'm going to test what I've done so far and then see if it actually works perfectly for me. When a practical is being carried on like this, you don't distract the tutor so that everybody will not get distracted. Now you can see that somebody actually drops the link for you. You don't distract the tutor because this is a practical class. Just take note because of next time. Okay. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to test this particular one. Others is actually working, but since it's password, we're going to test it and see if it's actually work because of the little interaction we added. So I'm just going to get a frame here. So I'm going to remember you need to change the names. If not, I'm going to confuse you. So I'm just going to take this here. So once I take this here, I'm going to click on this and then preview and see what I've done so far. So this is actually okay. So you can see that this actually worked perfectly the way I want it to work. So I'm just going to, delete this. Now let's go to our sign up screen. So I already have this and I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So I'm going to take this and then I'm going to call this sign up. So I'm going to take this body text and just tell the user welcome, blah blah blah, get to sign up. So this is like welcome, please enter your details. Now this is where I don't have to scroll back to that screen. Just come to my assets. So I'm just going to drag email, phone number, password, then return this back. And then I'm going to hold the 4 of them. So once I position it, I'll make sure that they're on the same line, and then I'll arrange horizontal. So now the space between them is too much. This space here is too much. So I'm just going to come to this place. So you can choose to reduce it this way, or you can come to this place and reduce them. So I will not be using 34, I'll be using 20, which is actually okay. So for somebody that suggested confirm password, you can go ahead and duplicate the password pattern and then do it. So this is how I'm going to I don't want to pack too much information. I just want to make my screen to be very short. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my button. So you can choose to duplicate this button, or you can choose to, get this button here. The choice is yours. So I'll be using this button here. Now expand this here. So once I expand this, the next thing I'm going to do is going to put sign up by Google, sign up by App Store. If you choose to add it, no problem. But if you don't want to, no wahala. Just come here and then bring this here. Now remember the reason why I'm duplicating this is because I want my topography to be consistent. So I'm just going to make it straight line, and then I will say already have an account. Login. Now this is how it's going to look like, and I'm going to zoom. Now remember we are using normal size of 18, and if we have, now remember there's a part where we use 18 bold. If you can remember, there is where we use 18 bold. So that's I that look like you are not typing. Now that same font that we actually use there, that's what we are going to use here. Now remember we don't have that on. Remember we don't have that in our style guide, and we have already used it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it in my local styles and also reflect it to happen here. But since we don't have it, I'm just going to do the same thing I did here. Please take note. So I'm also going to change the color to be a text button. Now this is how it's going to look like. So you can choose to add it under here, or you can choose to keep it here, anywhere you want to keep it. Now this is what we have. So I'm just going to duplicate this for login, and I'm going to change this to login. So I'm just going to take full name and phone number and leave just email. So the space between here to this place is 50. So I'm just going to hold this and this and reduce the space between them to be 20, because that is 20 I used here. So I'm just going to push it to this part and then use 50. So I'm going to use 50. So I'm just going to push these guys a little bit up here, and then I'm going to change this to be sign up. So this is going to be sign up. So this is going to be login. This is okay. So I'm going to put remember me and forgot password. Now let's create a checkbox. So the checkbox I'm going to create it in component. So I'll be using, it's going to be very simple because I'll be just using a rectangle. So I'll be using a rectangle. So, but before that, I'll have to take my measurements. So I normally take measurements, like I'm okay with this size, then let's create it in components. Is the best way. Instead of creating a component and you bring it and you start adjusting, it's more stressful. So I think this is actually okay. I like the width, so I'm going to reduce the height. So I think this is okay. So let's make it 35, 35. Let's see how it look like. So this is like a checkbox, and I want it to be in rectangle format. I want it in square format. I don't want it in rectangle. So I'm going to close this. So remember to rename your frame. So I'm going to close this. So I'm going to close. So this is actually okay to this place, and then make it a component.
Ma, we can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Is there anyone else on this call?
Yes.
It seems she's having network issues.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, she told us was it on Thursday? The borders are be the words for the column, the for this phone. What's it? You know the other one for website is 80. What is this one on? I've forgotten. Can anybody help me?
Border. Did she mention anything like border?
No, you know, was it border there? I've forgotten the name. You know, for the desktop. Huh?
Imagine.
Yes, imagine, yeah.
The
For
frame.
desktop is 12 columns and then 80/20, I think. Huh?
1240.
No, not the size of the desktop. This grid, the grid now.
Imagine, I think it's 3.
3.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma, we're hearing you.
I can't see anything different. So I'm just going to hold this. So I'm just quickly to create this. So I'm just going to give this a fit color. This is going to be a fit color. I'm going to remove the stroke. I don't need the stroke. I need it in fill. So this is going to be blue and this is going to be black. So sorry, both of them is going to be blue. So I'm just going to hold the two of them. Let's make it auto layout and see the outcome. I've never tried auto layout, but let's try it. Oh, it turned out fine. Thank God. So this is how it's going to look when it's being clicked, and this is how it's going to look when it's not being. So you just make it a component sharply. So I'm just going to take out this color. So this one now is just come here to close the eye. You just come to this place and close the eye, or you click your delete. So once you click on delete, this is how it's going to be. So this is how it's going to be when a user is not clicked and how it's going to be displayed when a user is clicked. So I'm just going to make this to be this color and then we'll do the normal way. So this is going to be, so I'm just going to do a short prototype. So just drag it like this and it's going to be clicked. So we are good to go with this. So you come back here, make sure you change the name, checkbox. So this is going to be checkbox. So just take this. Since we are going to that place, let's just take it. And voila. So we are going to our construction site. So I'll come here and then I'll paste it. This is actually looking too big. This is looking too big. So I'll just go to component. So I'll just right click and then go to main component. So when I go to main component, this is how it's going to be. So I'll just come here, hold this, hold my scale and this and hold my scale and then I can choose to make it whatever size I want. So this is how it's going to look like. And then once I'm done, I'm just going to click here. It will show me return to instant. So I'll just click on it and take me back to this place. Do you understand what I did here?
No, no,
Oh, color is actually saying something, but I don't know if it's from my end. But
He said
I
no. He said no.
I just heard Obiangeri's voice. Okay, so
Caller was saying no. Caller was saying no.
what I did
I
here
said
is
no, ma.
this is actually too big. This is 35. So let me undo what I did. Now this is actually looking too big. So 30, when I zoom out, 25 is actually looking too big. So instead of me to start scrolling to that place, scroll back, scroll to that place, scroll back. Now this is something that Figma has made it easy for us. So there's no need for me scrolling to that place, zoom in and do what I want to do, and then scroll back to this place. So all I have to do is I'll just right click, scroll, go to main component. This is actually invariant, remember. So it's easy for you to just go to the main component, make the touchings, and then come back here. It has already reflects in this place. So what I'm just going to do, since it's in component, I'm just going to come here and go to the main component. So I'm going to go to main component. So when I click on go to main component, it will take me to this place. So all I have to do is I will just hold my shift. Now remember, this is the job or the role that scale plays in. So I'm going to hold my K, like scale, going to put it in scale, come here and then reduce it to 30 because 35 is actually too big. So I'll reduce to 30. This is how it's going to look like. Then I will click the one that brought me here. So this is the one that brought me here. So I'm going to click it and it will take me back to here. So this is what happens. So it's not a magic that I did. This is what Figma actually made easy for us. So I'm just going to change this and say, remember me. So this is going to be like, remember me. You want this app to actually remember your information when you want to log in, or you don't want this app to remember your information. So it's either you click or you click out. Either you check or you uncheck. So I'm just going to reduce the space. I've made them in auto layout, so I'm just going to reduce the space and then make it 10. And then I'm going to duplicate this here, and I'm going to make it forgot password. So this is actually going to be here. Now, if you look at this, you can tell that this is actually too big. The text is too big. Now, this is where 14 text plays in. So I'm just going to select tiny 14. And this is going to be 16. Now I'm going to hold this together and then place it at the center here, align to the center. And I'm also going to reduce the spacing here. So I'll be using 5 for it. 4, 3, whatever number you want to use. So I'm going to place this here. And I'm also going to hold this. So I'm going to hold this here. And then I'm going to hold this and align them. So this is how it's going to look like. So we are done with the login and then the sign up screen. So the next thing we're going to design is just going to be a very simple home page. So you're just going to design a very simple home page. So now before that, I'm going to design like a pop-up screen that says success error. So going to design a pop-up screen. So a pop-up screen now is actually, now remember we talked about if you remember on our first day when we discussed about style guide. Remember I showed you feedback and notification, which is an example of what goes into the style guide. So now we're going to create a success and error screen. But now in this aspect, it's not going to be like a transaction. It's just going to be like a very simple authentication pop-up screen. So in this aspect, it's going to be like a model and a pop-up, like I'm trying to look for a layer and then a pop-up. Like a pop-up is like a half screen that is on top of a screen. So we are going to design it. So now I'm going to click on, so I'm going to click here. So I'm just going to click here. And then I'm going to duplicate this as well. So I'm going to duplicate this as well. So now I'm going to design a error and success screen. But in this aspect, we're going to use an animation or animated icon that says good or bad. So like this is like a screen we've duplicated. So I'm just going to use a rectangle and then place it on top. So make sure that the rectangle is having the same size, and then I'll move it to be black. So I'll make it black, and then I will reduce the opacity. I'll just make it transparent, but it's going to be dark. But I'll make it transparent like this. Sorry, I want to give these guys a fake color. So I'll have to come back here. I just want to give, I don't want it to be just on the floor. I'm going to give it a fake color. I'm just going to hold all of them and then give it a fake color. Remember, I thought I had a few color, so I didn't know I didn't add a few color because it was on a white background. So I thought I did. So I'm just going to add a few color. Mhm. So I thought I added a few color. So now let's create a pop-up, a modal. You can call it modal, you can call it pop-up notification. So let's create. So I'm going to use a rectangle to take my measurements. This is where my layout grid plays in.
Ma, the first rectangle you drew, the one that you reduced the opacity, or is it now one with? Did you frame it with the initial
No,
stuff?
I did not frame anything. I just dropped the rectangle there.
Okay.
I did not frame anything. I just dropped the rectangle there because it serves as a layer for me. So there's no need of framing it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do this outside. Go white background and white background to make me look off. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pick these two, this and this, then bring it here. So this is going to be like successful. Then I'm going to just use this text. So you can choose to draft out text. Now, well, since we are working with a content creator, content writer, so I think we'll just have to use dummy text. Yeah, so I'm going to add this and so I'm just going to reduce this to 16. So I'll be working with 16. Now you can see that 16 is too close. So I'm just going to click out. So I'll come here, I'll edit the style. So I'll be editing in it here. So I'm just going to add 0 and then start playing around until it gets to 29. So I'll just have to duplicate this here and add it. Okay, so but in this aspect, let's type something. Now you can see that the English is just plain. So I'm just going to make this to auto layout and I'm going to bring it down here. So now I need an icon that I need an icon that that will I animate when I click on that screen. So I'm just going to go back to here and then I'll look for notifies. So I'm going to come here to look for notifies. So let's wait for it to open. So this is how it look like. I so much love this notify. I so much love this notify hero section. Like I so much love it. Like I love it. It's still loading. So I so much love it. Like you can see what is happening.
I think she has the same problem again. Wow, we can't hear you. Abi, am I the only one here? Is my network?
Wow, we are not hearing you. I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, over again.
No, our screen is still showing, so she's still on. It's
Yeah, that
just
was the same.
network.
That was the same thing that happened. She freeze like this. She freeze.
Try. Showing now, she's showing.
Oh, okay, you go out. So you come for next as well. Oh God. I thought this product design was just drag and drop, but there's more to it. God help us, we'll learn it. So,
You cannot learn for 1 month. Oh. You still have to move further.
And
I
I
say
know
after
how.
this after this program, I'm going for more training again because
Me,
I love
I
it.
already
But
apply. I already apply again. At sale.
which,
You know, sale now. Ikorodu.
bro, yes. Is it the
Yes.
online class you
So
applied for?
both online and physical.
Which one
I
is that
don't think
one?
there's physical class. I missed the interview.
What do you say?
Physical. The interview.
Which one is that
But
one?
the online class
Was
is
it Zoom meeting
still
or
okay
Google
now.
Meet?
The online class
Which
is
Now I want
3 months
physical
or
class.
precious.
which
The online
I
which
want
one
physical class.
which one are you guys?
I
What
want
which
the
one are
online
you guys
class is
talking
three
about?
months. 3 months.
Is one program like that by one senator, free program.
Yes,
What's the
free.
name?
Still,
Stew.
Atibute,
So, but it has closed till next year
still.
again. So,
No
till
problem,
next year
no
now.
problem, no problem. I want the one of physical. I'll make you lead home very well.
The one of physical is six
No,
months.
yeah, I don't mind.
Sure. I will apply for that one too now.
No
Me, I don't
mind.
have time. I don't send though.
The 3 months old was that one is just online. I got the mail now, but that one was just online, and I missed the interview for itself. I was like, oh, I really need the physical one. Something that will make me lead home very well.
Thank God he didn't. Thank God he didn't
Make
apply
una
because
send link
Yeah.
oh. Send link oh. Send link
If you
abeg.
if you stay at Ikorodu, it's easy for you. That's the only thing
because
I can tell you. Else,
Can you guys
precious.
hear me now?
Assuming
yeah, we
okay.
can hear you, man.
So when you go there, you can now search for what you want to search. So what I'm looking for is a check mark. I'll be using this. So I think we'll have to stop using this Lotify because I can't deal with this network something. So we're just going to use a plugin. So on your own time, you can try it out. I can't deal with this network frustration right now. So on your own free way, you can try it out. It's the same normal way you can import icon from plugin. That's the same way. The same way you can use your illustration is the same way. So on your own free time, you can try it out, or you check out YouTube and learn it. So I'm just going to use ordinary icon for here. And you can see that I already have it as plugin. But you have to wait. You need a stronger network for it to load so that you can import the one you want to. So I'm trying to get X icon. Let's see if Iconify is going to produce anyone for us. But it seems they don't have, so automatically we are going to create one by ourselves. So I'm going to just create X icon for myself. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold my scale and I'm going to increase it this way. So if I increase it automatically, I will use my sources column. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we are hearing you.
Okay.
Yes, ma, we can.
So I'm just going to hold. So what I have here is, now remember I'm not going to just click here. I'm going to hold the frame here. So what I have is 147, 147. So I want to create X own, but this time I'm just going to use a pen icon. So in your own, when you want to create, use Lotify. Lotify will give you animation. It's fine when you use animation. But due to I'm having a bad network, I cannot Lotify cannot properly load with my poor network. You get it actually need a strong network so that all of them will load and then you get to see the one you want. Okay. So in this aspect, I'm just going to use this one and this one. So I'm just going to create success model or pop-up. So if I call it model, just know that I meant pop-up. Developers call it model, designers call it pop-up. So I want to place it at the center. And I think I'll have to reduce this guy here like this. So I'm going to zoom out to see how it is. Okay, I think this is actually okay. So I'm just going to make it a component and then add variant to it. So once I add variant to it, so this is how it's going to look like. So all I have to do now is just to create X. So I'm just going to create that outside. So I'm just going to use a rectangle. So I'm just going to remember the weights. Remember the height and the weight is 1447. So I'm just going to create it inside here. 147. Sorry, not 1447, 147. So I'm just going to use my pen to create like X, bad. Yeah, and I'm going to create another one from here to here. So once I create it now, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to zoom in and then make it stick. So I'm just going to make it, I want it to be very, very bold. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to increase the stroke. So I'll make it like, what's going on? So let's make it like 5 and 6. So let's make it like 6. I want it to be very thick, just like this one we are trying to create. So this is how it's going to look like. So and it's actually looking so big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my scale and reduce it. So I'm just going to hold my scale to reduce it. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we are hearing you.
Okay, so I'm
Yes,
just going
ma, we
to
can hear you.
okay, so I'm just going to reduce it. Like I just want to reduce it. Since I'm creating it from scratch, I just want it to blend with this one. So I think this is actually the height and the this thing is okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it more thicker to get to this pattern. So this is how it's going to look like. I think one part is actually longer than one part. So this is so I'm just going to make this to be like 80, and I'm going to make this to be like 80. So this one is 76 and this one is 72. So I'm just going to make both of them to be 70. But I just want it to be equal. So I'm just going to come here to align them properly. And you can see that it is now aligned and both of them is carrying the same height and weight. So I'm just going to change the color. I'm trying to create this from scratch since I did not get any icon related to this. So I'm just going to group them. So you can't make this auto layout because it's actually going to scatter. So you see it is going to scatter. So what I'm just going to do is since I'm crafting it out, so I'm just going to, group them. So once I'm done grouping, I can now, I'm trying to get this circle now. So I'm getting this circle. This circle is showing me 1, 2, 8. So you can just to pick the color, the number and come here and then paste it. So once you paste, this side is going to look like you come here, you also paste. So once you paste, you can now hold these two together and then arrange it together. So I'm going to make this like circle format. So I'm going to hold this and say 1000. I just want it to be in circle format. So once I make it circle, automatically I'm going to, reduce this guys again. So I'm going to hold my scale and I'm going to scale it. So once I hold my scale, I'm going to place at the center. And then I'm going to hold these two and make it more thicker to get to this point. So I'm going to take this out from scale and I'm going to make this like 10. So once I make it 10, I'm going to hold this group and this cycle. Then I'll position in vertical and horizontal setting. And then let's try auto layout if auto layout is actually going to work. So auto layout worked out perfectly for me. So automatically I'm going to give this a fill color of red arrow. So you can see that I have actually, created something like this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick this. So I'm just going to pick this and then bring it inside here. So now this is one thing about auto layout. If you're not careful, you're going to mess up your work. Like if you're not careful with auto layout, you're going to mess your work. Now another way, if your work actually happens like this, another way to do this thing is just undo. You can copy. You come to this place, this first one, this one like this. This one that is already in molecules in auto layout, you just come here and then paste your work. So once you paste your work, this is how it's going to appear. So all you need to do now is just to switch this position here and here. So you come to your layers here, you close like every box that is open. Remember, we are working in the second one. So you just close this, and this is how it's going to be. So you open this now. Now this is the one you need to take out. So you just delete it. So once you delete it, this is how it's going to look like. Now you need to move this one to the top. So you just click. That's why it's always good for you to rename your frames, right? To be very easy for you to know the one you are playing around with. So that you can see that we've craft out something similar to this. But with Lotify, if you just put it, it's actually going to display white too. But when you start doing your prototype, you see the thing start animating, and it's actually give you the look and feel, nice look and feel of your design. Now let's change this. Let's change this write up. So this write up is going to say um, error or whatever. Just let's use the right content for it. So let's say error look like looks like you input the wrong details. Please try again. So now there's going to be a button. If you choose to add a button here that says try again, so automatically this is going to have a button. But here we don't want it to have a button. We just want it to delay sometimes after you're done reading. Then you're going to it's going to take you back for you to put the correct details, like you input the wrong details. Please try again. So I think I'm okay with this. So I'm just going to change this to pop up, P-O-P, pop up. So no need to, if you choose to add it, fine and good, but I don't want to add it because this is white and this is white background. So except I'm just going to take this out a little bit from white so that I can add it inside. So I'm just going to take it out from white a little bit. So this can be inside. So I'm just going to stretch this and then add this inside here. So just going to come here, come to my assets. So this is going to be here. So I'm just going to take this rectangle I duplicated here. So I'm just going to take this rectangle here and then so I'm just going to take it here and then I'll take this here. So I'm going to have two sources and two errors. So I'm just going to bring this login under here. Okay, so let's make login to be under and sources to be at the top. So I'm just going to bring this login here, under here. And then this is going to be error. For example, we input the wrong details. So I just want to show you guys how error screen will look like. So you come here, you duplicate here. So let's do prototype for this, and then we'll continue with the home page. Because the home page is very, very complicated. We're going to design the home page, design the nav bar, design everything in the home page, and then link these ones we are going to work with that one. Okay. So let's work prototype. Let's work with prototype with this ones we've created. This how many screens? This is 6, 9. Let's work with this 11 screens that we've worked with. So first thing first is I'm going to add my frame. So I'm going to add, I'm using iPhone 14. So this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to come here and I will click here. So I'm going to preview. You can choose to open it, present it in the next screen, but I just want it to be this way so that once I'm doing my job here, I'm going to be seeing what is happening here. So I want these two screens to work. So I don't know if it's Joy or Miriam that asked a question. What if we have the icon the other way around? I say yes, you can work with your splash this way or this way, or you can work with both of them. So sometimes what I normally do is if the logo is being sent to me, and let's say we have a colored logo and automatically it's going to be on a white background. So what I normally do as a designer, I normally request for the other way around, like the white background, how it look like on a color background. There's white logo, how it's going to look like on a color background. Okay, so that I normally ask, oh, I need it because be it with websites, be it web app, be it mobile app, I always request for both. There are sometimes you want to be creative. Let's say, for example, you're designing a website and the footer, you want your footer to be in dark color. There are sometimes you want to be creative and you want your footer to be in dark color. You will need a white logo for that. There are sometimes you want your hero section to be in a colored background. You will need your white logo. So sometimes it's like it is always my job for me to tell you, oh, I need the logo in both white background and colored background, because I will not just imagine, oh, this because I'm using this logo this at this point, I will have to use white background. No. Sometimes I just like to be creative, to create different hero section for my clients. I will need both logo to be creative for that. So that's what I normally do. Same thing applies to my splash screen. I normally design the two. Sometimes I will design the two and tell you, okay, as a client, do you want the two of them to work or you just want one? So I normally design the two and leave it for my clients to make choice. I don't give them choice. Okay, I allow them to make a choice of what they want. So in this aspect, since I'm teaching you, I'm just going to work with these two. I want it to, like, after delay, both of them to work before it moves to this place. So now let's do prototype for these 11 screens that we just worked on, and then on Thursday we will start from the home page, which is going to have a lot of auto layout, a lot of components. Okay, so first thing first is I have selected my phone frame. Now I want to move to to prototyping. Now first thing first is I'm going to drag this to here, to this point. Now I don't want it to click. I don't want to click on it. I don't want to. I want it to just move on its own. So I just want it to move on its own. So I'm going to go back to the screen here. So I want it to move on its own. So I'm going to click here to get my settings. So I'm going to drag this up so that it can be visible for everybody. So I'm going to move it to after delay. So do I want, now you can see that it just moved on its own without me touching it. So I will make it in dissolve. So I'm going to go back to see what I've done. You can see how it actually dissolves on its own. You can see how it dissolves on its own. So do you want to make it do I want to make it smart animate or do I want it instantly? So I think I will have to make it in dissolve, and then I'm done with this setting. So I'm going to move this one to here. So now in this aspect, I'm working with both of them. So I'm going to drag this here. I'm going to make the same after delay, but this is actually going to be in smart animate. So I'm going to start from beginning here. So you can see that this is fast. That I didn't see, let's start from the blue one. It's not allowing me to work. So let's click on the blue one. So you can see that's how it moves with smart animate. So I'm going to, you can see. So you can choose to make it, do you want it to be very fast? Do you want it to be very slow? So the choice is yours. I think I liked it this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is now is on this screen. So the next thing I'm going to do is, so the next thing is going to be from here to this screen. Now it's going to carry the previous settings from what you've done from the previous screen. Now, do you want it that way? So I don't want it that way. So what I want is, I want it to slide in. So do you want it sliding? So I'm going to go back and see, do you want it sliding like this? Or do you want it push? So let's go back and see. So do you want it move in? So I think I will have to go with instant. So I'm going to go with instant. So this is how instant look like. So I think I liked it instant because this from this section here is actually just going to pin in a position. Like if you don't look at it carefully, you will know that the content has actually changed. If you don't look at it very well, you will not know. So I think I will go with instant because I love how only this guy and this guy just change position. So can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear
Yes,
you.
ma, we are hearing you.
It shows from my end that you guys responded, but I did not hear anything. I won't lie. But from you guys responding, it shows that you guys can hear me. So no need of refreshing my um, browser. But somebody should drop a comment. So Miriam just reacted. Wisdom, you're saying something, but I cannot hear anything. So drop. Okay, she say yes, ma. Oh, thank God. Whew. Okay, so now let's go back. Boy, how, how do I know now you guys have question? Okay, I'll be checking the comment section. So I love it instantly because these guys will remain in a position, this one will remain in a position, this one will remain in a position. But if you don't look at it very well, you will not know that something actually changed, like yeah, change. So I'll work with instant. So let's start from beginning down to this onboarding screen too. So I'm going to restart prototype. The delay here is actually much. The delay is it takes it is too much. So I'm just going to make it 500. ms means milliseconds, so that's what it means. So I'm also going to make here, this is actually 800. This is okay. Okay, but I think let's play it again and see. Okay, I think I'll have to go with the 800. I think I'll have to go with the 800 millisecond. So let's start again and see. Now I think I like this instance. Okay, I just need to be sure in case somebody draw my attention to it. Then I'm going to repeat the same method from here. So I'm going to push this guy. So I want you guys to be seeing where the arrow is pointing at. So I'm going to click this button next to this screen. So this is how it's going to look like. So we're going to, let's start from onboarding screen 1. So I'm going to start from this screen. So I'm going to restart the prototype. Like restart prototype means like refresh it to start from beginning. That's what it means. So I'm going to click, let's start from the beginning. So now the next thing I'm going to do is going to be get started. So my get started is going to move to this screen. So when it gets to this screen, so do you want it instant? I think I will have to go with instant. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this right up. This goes to this and this goes to this. So the login, we have to go to this screen, and the sign up, we have to go to this screen. Yeah. So now this is what we have. So I'm just going to start from this screen and just see what we've done so far. Remember this, we're not going to play around with this because it's already in an interactive component. So this is what we're going to do. So let's start from onboarding screen. Let's start from onboarding screen 1. So let's start from onboarding screen 1. So now let's play with this interactive input field that we've already done as components. So that it has already reflected here. But in this aspect now for login, you're going to create a new one. Like you're going to create a new one for login. Like this is what I mean. So the same way we duplicated and create for email and password, that's why you're going to create and duplicate for another email and another password. But in this aspect, you're just going to put it sign up email and sign up password, or login email and login password. So that when you are doing interaction for this, it will not reflect for this one. Now let's just play around with error and success screen. Let's say, for example, we have something um, like this. So I'm just going to come for success here. So I wish there is home page. So but since there is no home page, I'm just going to use ordinary frame. Yeah. So I'm just going to use an ordinary frame. So this is what I use. So I'm just going to use an ordinary frame and then put text and call it home. So we are going to design that in our next class. So I'm just going to put it home page and then make the text to be very big. If you can still hear me, please react. Emoji, text, anything at all. Okay. Very good.
We are hearing you.
I can hear you now, Wisdom. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to use this frame as home page since we already don't have a home page screen. So I'm going to go back to my prototype. So I'm going to, move this. So I'm going to move this here. So I'm going to duplicate this here. And I'm going to go to community and look for loader. So let's go to community and look for loader. I believe you know what is loader. Like you're having network issue and then something is actually loading for you. So I'm going to come here and look for loader. So once this is what a loader looks like. So I'm just going to pick one of the loader that a designer has actually designed. So this is what a loader looks like. So I'm just going to pick I think I'll have to use this one, which is actually simple and easy. So now one thing about community is before you can open the file, you can come in. You can come in. This is how this loader looks like. This is actually slow. So you can come here to see how other loader look like. This one is showing you a simple loader. I think I'll have to go with this. This is how this one look like. So I think I don't like this, so no need for me to open it. And community now, you can see the name of the person that did it. You can see how many likes, how many persons has viewed. You can save it. You can like it, just something like that. That's how it is. Now you can see it in design template. So I'm going to use simple loader. I think I don't like this loader. So you can see how we have a lot of loader. So in our next class, I'm going to add loader to the screen. But for now, let's just do sources and then blend into the home page. Then in our next class, I'm going to show you how to add loader. Sorry, I'm an Anambra guest. So if you hear me,
Sorry, ma. Hello, ma.
I can hear you.
Yeah, when you did the error and the success, the error is a variant of the success screen. So I didn't really understand that side. Because it's not supposed to move from the original one to the variant.
Error and success is actually playing a different role. Like I said, in our next class, I'm going to show you interactive where error comes in. For now, we're working with success.
Oh, okay. The reason I'm asking is because it was the variant of um success that you used to do the error.
Because I did not do any interactive component.
Okay. Okay.
So where did we stop? We stopped sign up and sign in. So you're just going to play for success. So this is going to work as success. So this is going to be tap and it moves. And this is going to be like after delay. So I'm going to move this here. So I'm going to shift this guy. So we are assuming that this is actually the home screen since we don't have the design. So this is going to be like after delay, straight to this one. So I'm going to make it after delay. So now let's see what we've done so far. So let's start from the beginning. Why is it following my cursor? You have next, next, get started. You can go back to login. Now you can see that it's actually reflecting because we duplicated it. So, but in your own now, this is actually component on its own. So you are going to do for login component on its own, and then you make it interactive. So that's why it will just respect itself and stand for its own. Password, you have the I, close I, you have the login, you can come here and do your checkbox, you can go back to sign up, and you have this. I have this. Now, if there is loader now, after the sources, you will now have a loader screen that is saying, please wait. Like you're just telling your instead of this thing to continue showing, let's say you're having network issue, instead of this to just continue showing for more than 1 minute, you can display this in 30 seconds and then you have the loader in 30 seconds just to tell them that, oh, you have successful sign up, please wait while we take you to the home page. And then maybe you're having network issue, then the loader will come in and say, please, we are having network issues, just to keep your user in touch. It's part of communication. Is an important of now let's leave the UI part. It's part of the UX where you have your user in mind, because no user there are some users when they just see sign up for more than 1 minute, the next thing that comes in their mind, they will swipe the app and then close it. You get, but now in this aspect, you have your users in mind. So you're just going to, let them know that okay, there's something troubleshoot, there's network, maybe there's delay, just they should just hold on a little while you take them to the home page, and then you have the loader that is loading. So in our next class, we are going to add loader. We are going to correct this also. Please take notes. We're going to add our loader and we are going to correct this also. But so now if you come to this place,
But
so let's try one more time before we can call it a day. See how simple it went. Now, once we are done with the design, I'm going to show you how to duplicate the whole of this file to have access to, touch everything if you want to edit I will show you how you can copy the whole of this my design to your own Figma file. So, but for now, no need for you to duplicate your Figma file because we are not done, and we are going to correct this input field here. Okay, so we're going to stop here and then we'll continue on Thursday. Please take notes. We are going to add loader and we are going to correct this input field. Please note. So we're going to end the class here. So if you have